Welcome to the Land of Bet Sports Betting Show. 10 NBA games here on Monday. Going to be running through a few of the ones that we at least have props up for as I get this episode out to you guys on Sunday night. Coming off a pretty good day of betting. Really small card there with a really weird slate here and a lot of games that started really early. Made money and have been having a good week here. So very profitable. Going to give you guys an opportunity to get into the VIP as well if you're interested and run through how we did here on Sunday, as well as get into about 6 of the looks that I've got down here for ourselves on Monday. So if that all sounds good, go ahead and give this video a like. Let's get right into it. Like I said, just 3 bets on the card here on Sunday, 2-1 to make 0.7 units and have now won 5 of the last 7 nights. So 5 of 7 winning nights here this past week, up 4.5 units. And we are now at 50.2. So we climbed back over the 50 unit mark there. We had a cold streak about 8 days prior to this nice streak here this last week. We're rough, right? To end February, first couple of days of March, nasty work, lost about 11 units over the course of about 8 days, making that back. So we are now back above 50. Like I said, feeling really good about the way we played these games on Sunday, especially Scotty Barnes, man, very proud of that look because he had about 23. He ended with 22 PA, right? 16-6. And I predicted him for 26 minutes and about 20 PA in 26 minutes. Well, he played a few extra minutes on top of that and still ended right there what we needed him to at about 22. So very good read because Scotty and the Raptors aren't trying. So they're not going to play him down the stretch. In games that they could win, they're actually going to sit him down so that they make sure that they don't win, right? Zubac here, really nice W here on the Rebs for him as well. Love the fact that in the last bunch, the Hornets have actually been good limiting center points. They've been terrible limiting center rebounds. And Zoo, well, I don't love his scoring when he's playing alongside Norm Powell, who was back in that game, or Kawhi and James Harden. When all those guys are out there, I don't love Zoo at really high points props, but the rebounds were great because he's out there to just do that when he's playing with all the other stars there for the Clips. So he's at about almost 15 rebounds per game when he's playing with those other 3 stars on the Clippers. Going to keep eyeing his rebounds if we get that kind of value, especially in good matchups like against a team like the Hornets. And then Denny Avdia couldn't come through. He ended with 7, but he just wasn't doing it in the first half, and they didn't play him the 36 minutes that they've been playing him. So I don't know what to do. They didn't have the players out there that they had been missing, and they still had the same lineups, and he wasn't out there for the full load of minutes that I thought he was going to play. They ended up coming back and winning, so good for them, but we'll have to monitor that stuff with the Blazers players. Like, I just don't know how to project their rotations right now, other than for a few guys, and Denny doesn't appear to be one of the guys that you can just slot in for his normal minutes. So we'll take the L there, but still feel really good about the 0.7 units we made. And if you do want to jump into the VIP, go ahead and get yourself a free month by signing up for any of the sports books that you see listed in the description of the video. They're also scrolling right under me. You can see Novig just came up right there. If you don't have an account with any of those, use code LYB to sign up and then send me a screenshot just letting me know that you signed up for those books, and I'll get you a free month into the VIP so you get the premium Discord, all the picks that I have, as well as access to some one-on-one sports betting consultations as well. If you guys want to get in on some of the stuff I'm offering here, you can get a little bit better at sports betting, hopefully, with some of the stuff I'm bringing you here as we meet up and go over some of the good habits that you can add, trim some of those bad habits. That's what we like to talk about. So hope to see you guys in the VIP, but either way, let's jump into what we've got here for Monday. As always, going to be using Props Madness here on the show, showing you guys my screen so you can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. This is the #1 sports betting research tool when it comes to hoops, hands down. It is a one-stop shop, so you really don't even have to leave the platform to get all the info you need to find the best value on those bets. If you do want to jump into Props Madness here, use code LYB, get yourself a free week trial. Make sure you like it before you purchase it. And then if you do want to get it, it's 25% off for your first month if you use that code LYB. So hope you guys can jump in there and get something out of this. But let's start with that first game we've got here. It's Knicks and Heat. And as always, we're waiting on a couple things here. The most important one being, is Andrew Wiggins going to play for the Heat? We know that the Knicks are going to be without Jalen Brunson. And so that's why the first guy I'm looking at here is actually Mikal Bridges. And there's a couple things working in our favor for Bridges over on the assists here. You can see it's 3.5 for really bad odds there, -166. But really, 3.5 is a great number for Mikal. The thing that I'm looking at here is 2 things. 1, without Jalen Brunson. So we've got about 5 games here without JB, 4 per game. Didn't get one in this Jazz game, but it's the potential assists that I'm looking at here. You can see, and I believe he had a ton of points in that game against the Jazz too. Yeah, 27, ended up taking most of the shots in that game once Jalen Brunson was unavailable. But the assists, other than the assists not hitting, the potential assists are there. 5 potentials, 11, 13, and even 5 for 3 against the Dubs the other night in 38 minutes. This is a team, though, in the Heat that when he's played even with Brunson, he's been really good at getting these dimes. 6 in the first game on 8 potentials, 16 potentials in just 29 minutes in that next game there, where he just stopped shooting. This was earlier in the month, I know, because I bet over on Mikhail's points in that game, and he stopped even looking at the rim and just started passing, as the Heat really did a great job of shutting him down. And even though they're good against spot-up shooters, bad defending spot-up shooters, right, because they are good at limiting the ball handler, right, and giving up a lot of assists, over pressuring the ball. Well, Mikhail is going to be on ball a lot more when Jalen Brunson's not out there. And that's what this is going to come down to as well, is like, this is a great matchup for him. Historically has done really well diming up against the Heat. Plus you have Jalen out, where he's now going to have a lot more touches, a lot more involvement in distribution rather than just shooting, as it's really not just like Miles Bridges, who isn't really good enough on ball as a ball handler, to be honest. Like, kind of the dribbling skills in and of themselves aren't really enough for him to sort of just be up at the top of the key running things without the potential that he loses the ball. Say a guy like Davion Mitchell is guarding Miles McBride, right? Like, he's going to have a tough matchup. And Mikhail, while he might have someone like, I don't know what the matchups are going to be just yet, but as things stand, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero started last game in the backcourt for Miami. If those guys are starting, one of them is going to have to guard Mikal Bridges, and I love that matchup for Mikal, but I love the assists, especially as he's had a very, very tough time scoring against the Heat in his career and has done much better with these assists, especially on the Knicks this season. I don't know if I could bet on anything for this 76ers-Rockets game, because the 76ers are playing in it, and again, don't really know who's going to play for them. They don't have it submitted yet for their injury report, but I don't know why the Rockets would take this game seriously. So this is going to be a big, big spread. Starting to get to the point of the season where it's like, why would I bet on a game, even for props, when it's like a 14-point spread and the blowout is imminent? Kind of feel that way about this Detroit game as well. With the Pellies, we for as far as the injury report goes, we know Jaden Ivey's out for the Pistons, but more importantly for the Pelicans, Missy is questionable, Olynyk is questionable, and Zion Williamson is questionable. Not sure how you're supposed to put a bet down on either team in this game until we know what any of the 3 big men who play for this team are going to do, right? Especially Zion Williamson. Just got the Pacers and Timberwolves, just got the Bulls and Jazz, so don't have anything for them yet. It's still very late night here on Sunday, and those just started to come out. But the research I did was for the other games here, including this Grizzlies and Kings game. So if you want to get into this one, go ahead and give the video a like. Much appreciated, as we go ahead and get into this stuff with you guys for free, obviously. Looking at this Grizzlies and Kings game, a couple of things I like here. So looking at the matchups, and that'll really help you get there, right? We've got Jalen Wells guarding Malik Monk. We've got Luke Kennard guarding Zach LaVine. We've got Desmond Bane guarding DeMar DeRozan. And now we might have Keegan Murray guarding Triple J, right? If we keep these lineups the same as they've been, because we know, by the way, Ja Morant is out, burying the lead. No Ja in this game. So we've got Wells, Kennard, Bane, Triple J, and Edey, which means Triple J is going to get guarded by Keegan Murray. Either that's going to mean he's about to torch him, and that's going to be a problem, or we're going to have to see a lot more Domas Sabonis and Joe Val on the court at the same time. Jonas Valanciunas might actually be pretty important in this game, because if you've got any, like, put it this way, if you put Triple J, you put Sabonis on Triple J, well, then you've got Murray on Edey. That's not going to work. That's like 8 inches. It's like 6'8" versus 7'4" or whatever. That's not going to work. So we're probably going to have to see some Joe Val matching Edey minutes. And we're going to have to see Domas probably guarding a guy like Triple J, and then you got Joe Val on Edey. That would be how I would do this if I was the Kings, but probably not going to start that way. So there's a couple things you can do with that. The fact that there is this massive advantage for the Grizzlies and Triple J. A couple things you can do with that. One is, like I said, I think we attack Joe Val props and we can take over on his stuff here, because I think he has to play. And the minutes for him do not have to be that high, right? You can see here in the last game, 12 minutes versus the Suns, not a good matchup for him, because this is a jump shooting team in the Suns that doesn't have a good center. So there weren't really minutes for him to play in that one. Other game against the Dubs, it was a blowout, another small lineup. Sabonis didn't play, so he actually started, still didn't play that many minutes because he wasn't needed. But in 14 minutes, he had 14 rebound chances and 9 boards. That illustrates to you how few minutes he really needs to get his boards, right? If you actually look at this and filter it, so let's say he plays 14 to 18 minutes. Let's be really, really conservative and say he's only going to play 14 to 18 minutes here on Monday night against in this matchup against the Grizzlies. he's still at 6.5 rebounds per game in 14 to 18 minutes. I mean, these rebound chances for someone playing that many minutes are at 10.8, like 11 rebound chances in 14 minutes. That's not normal, right? Let's just put it that way. It is not normal. It's way more normal to get a rebound chance every other minute. And this man is getting one a minute, right? So I got to love him because I got to put him at 18 minutes. And if I put him at 18 minutes, and let's say it's 16 to 20 even on the minutes here, this is rebound chances, excuse me. Let's go back to the minutes and let's give him 20 as his ceiling and 16 as his floor. Now we're up to 7.1 boards per game in these situations, man. I just think he's going to be too crucial to making sure that they can defend the size that you're going to get from this Grizzlies team when they have Triple J and Edey on the floor at the same time. Or if you just have Edey out there in the backup minutes, you have to match those minutes with Joval. So I think he's going to be in for a little bit of a bump, and that's why I'm going to attack the boards on the over for him, not the points, but I'll be attacking the boards over for Joval here on Monday. The most obvious way to exploit everything I'm talking about here with the matchups is this dude. And it's already at 24.5, and I just don't think it's going to go down. I think this is going to be at 25.5 by the time it closes on Monday. So I really want to take it over for Triple J. We're in one of these situations where I'm like, look, the ceiling is very high for him. You look at the games that he's played without Ja Morant, right? Let's just look at those in general. He's at a few more points per game than normal, 24.3 on the season. Let's make sure we get all the games without Ja. Yeah, 25. So 24 points per game on the season. If you look at how he scores his points, though, right? Off the spot up, a ton of spot up, and he's still going to be playing that way here without Ja. Like, he's still going to be spotting up, waiting for guys like Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard to feed him instead of Ja. That's the only difference. So he's still going to be a very good spot up shooter against the worst spot up defense in the league. Transition, this is a good defense for sure in limiting transition, but getting to the free throw line is also going to be a problem, right? They are the 10th worst defense limiting free throws. This dude's scoring about 4.5 points per game from the free throw line. And if you just look at the way he's played against them this season, one game, only played 25 minutes. They won by 5. He did have 4 fouls in that game. They honestly just played everybody about 25, 30 minutes. It was like a weird Taylor Jenkins just spreading out the minutes. Marcus Smart was still on the team, right? It was a different time in December 5th. January 3rd, a lot more similar to what we're seeing now. And he played this team without Ja, and he ended with the 28 points there in 30 minutes and shot horribly, by the way, 9 for 21 from the field. But because he went to the free throw line 10 times, which is what I'm saying here, the Kings are very bad at limiting free throws, and he is very good at getting to the free throw line. He's going to be a matchup problem, whether it's against Domas, who's average, actually has gotten better at defending, but is at best an average defender. Whether he's going against him or Joval, who is just no match for his quickness, or he's going up against Keegan Murray. God help us that he goes against Keegan Murray for an over here, because he's going to chew him into pieces, right? So that's what we're looking at, is big time mismatches for Jaren Jackson Jr. That was the case in this game here against Sac. And the other thing I should tell you is Trey Lyles is questionable. That's their backup center here. Let's call him backup 4 right now for the Kings. He was their backup center until Joval got there. He's questionable. So if he doesn't go, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to get even more points, and I think Joval is even more likely to get more rebounds and points. So let's see what happens with Trey Lyles, but Jaren Jackson Jr., let's wait till tomorrow morning, not bet overnights the night before, but we'll wait till tomorrow, see if we can still get 24.5. I like anything around 24.5, even 25. I think he's going to be good for about 26, 27 points in this game. The other guy I'm looking at here is Desmond Bane, because without Ja Morant, he's going to take on much more of a facilitator role, as we know, right? So let's look at the games that he's played this season without Ja Morant. And we can see he's now played, it's at least 19 games without Ja. He's at about 14 rebounds and assists per game. But earlier in the year, when he was playing without Ja, he still wasn't really getting that many touches. There was a bunch of games he didn't even play 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and up his minutes filter and say that he's going to play at least 30 minutes in an important game against the Kings on Monday. Well, now we're up at about 14.8, and we should be projecting him for at least about 35, 36 minutes in this game if they're serious about winning it, which I definitely know they are. He's going to dominate touches, dominate potential assists. You can see without Ja, the potential assists on the season go up to about 10.6 as long as he gets the 30 minutes. The rebound chances also from 10.5 to 12. And not like Ja was taking rebounds from him, but it also does just impact the amount of time he has on the court and the amount that he's able to then go crash the boards on defense, because they're also hiding him on defense when he plays without Ja. They really want his energy to stay up. So they don't make him guard one of the other team's best players. They let him sort of sit in the corner, guard a guy like Keegan Murray, for example, right? And that way he's there in position to get those boards. So this is at 13.5, creeping over to 14, but it's only available in a couple books. So got to wait again until Monday to be able to bet this one. But if we can get this at 14.5 or like anything close to even even money or 13.5 for any kind of odds, then I love an over for Desmond Bane, who will be the PG in this one without John Moran. I had a bet to show you guys here for this Nuggets and Warriors game, and it looks like Jimmy Butler's props just got taken down. Still have a really weird injury report. Don't know who's going to be playing yet for most of these teams, for both of these teams, really, because Jokic is questionable, Murray is questionable, Aaron Gordon is questionable, and Steph is actually questionable. As the Dubs have another game, they're on the front end of a back-to-back. They're going to be playing Milwaukee here on Tuesday, so we don't know if Steph's going to play. I would imagine they'd want to play him for the conference game, right? They're in-conference rival versus the Eastern Conference Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm projecting that everybody except for maybe Aaron Gordon is going to be a go on both sides. But either way, when Jimmy Butler's props come back up, I'm going to be looking at the dimes for this dude. He has been going off in the last 3 games, and I think there's been a clear shift that Jimmy Butler is the point guard of this team right now. What tells me that? In the last 3 games, Jimmy Butler has averaged 75 touches per game. That's 20 more than Steph has averaged in the last 3, and 10 more than Draymond has averaged. He's at 17 potential assists per game in the last 3. Draymond, 9 potentials per game in the last 3. Steph, 7 potentials in the last 3. So he's got more than double the potential assists of Steph, 20 more touches. Like, Steph is coming off ball. Now, Steph still has the same amount of time dribbling the ball as Jimmy. It's just that he's not in possession quite as much, but when he has it for longer, right? But what it tells me is Jimmy sets up the offense, Draymond and Jimmy sort of working the ball up top, and then they find Steph off a screen, and then they get him in a position to do work. Or obviously Jimmy is running the pick and roll with him and able to find him out there on the catch and shoot. So really liking Steph's points if he plays, but really like Jimmy's assists here as he's taken over as the primary ball handler and the lead facilitator for the Dubs. All right, one more reminder, if you do want to jump into the VIP up 50 units again on the season, use code LYB and sign up for any of the books that you see scrolling underneath me here, as well as listed in the description of the video. You can get to any of those books, sign up for any of them, use that code, and then just send me a screenshot showing me that you signed up. It's at JLBoogie on Twitter or Discord, and I'll go ahead and get you that free month of VIP access to get in on all the stuff that we've got going on. Really, really proud of that chat as well in there, where a lot of people throwing a lot of really good looks every day, supporting each other, no toxicity. That's what we're all about there. So I hope to see you guys in there. And until I see you next, happy betting.